Hello and everybody, and welcome to the Epic Fall Tournament for today. This is the finals, and I am one of your casters today, Mjinga Sana for long, and just Sana for short. I am joined here with another co-caster, Gilfrost. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. How you doing,
I
Sona?
am doing fantastic.
Well, sweet. Well, I'm really excited for today. Apparently, the teams we've got today, it's Yolo versus Overpowered for the grand final of this tournament.
That is very correct. And we should actually be getting into game pretty quickly. It looks like we are missing just a couple of members, one member of one of the teams. But I'm really excited. This is the finals of the tournament. And so kind of everything has culminated into this point. The winner will be taking home 3,200 RP and a Triumphant Rise skin per person. And on the opposite side, we will have... I'm not entirely sure what the second prize is. It's just RP, there's no skin.
Yeah.
So, big prizes on the line, but both of these teams do qualify for prizes. So, they're not competing for all or nothing, but, you know, a Triumphant Rise skin's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, right now it's really just a little bit of extra RP and some bragging rights in a lot of ways, but both these teams have fought their way through this tournament, and I think they want to finish off strong here.
Yeah. I'm going to actually... Well, no, that's okay, fine. So anyway, this is a tournament that has been taking place over the last couple of weeks. Originally, it was designed to take place for just one day. But, you know, I feel like we had a Swiss-style tournament because there was a lot of people who had varying skill levels in the tournament. But, you know, a Swiss-style tournament isn't really as fun to watch kind of that knockout. So, like, there is really no concept of knocking out in a Swiss tournament. And so what we did is for the finals, the top 8 teams, we decided to go ahead and have this more traditional knockout tournament. And it's been a couple weeks in the making. And so this is that final game. This is a best of 3. So whoever wins will take it home. I guess the prizes that we talked about before. So I guess it looks like what's going on right now is we have a couple people in chat. They are talking about rearranging the pick order. I'm going to go ahead and leave the lobby. Can you go ahead and tell them to rearrange their pick order using the spectator option, and then I will rejoin once they are finished.
Done and done.
Yep.
We'll see if we can get the sheep herded here in the right order.
Okay. So,
I'll let you know when they're done,
yeah,
by the
okay.
way.
I was going to say, I'm like flying blind here. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, looks like they're trying to figure out what order they want, and there's still some technical difficulties going on behind even the scenes that we can see. But yeah, is there anything that we can expect here going into the picks and bans from either of these teams? I am unfamiliar with these teams.
You know, I'm not sure that there's any particular picks and bans that we're going to see other than the solo queue picks and bans. I'm not extremely familiar with either of these teams as well. I know one of the only players that I've really played with, and I know is One Man Army, who is fairly versatile. Whenever I play with him, at least in solo queue, he plays a variety of champions. So I know that he likes to play... Orianna. I've seen him play Orianna a couple times.
And we are playing on the most recent patch, so we're on 3.13. And so we've got a few of the recent nerfs and buffs, so it's gonna look pretty much just like I would not be surprised to see solo queue bans. However, since these guys have been playing throughout the tournament, there is the option for some more interesting bans, some more targeted bans, as we are getting into the picks and bans right now.
And it looks like, yes, we are getting into the picks and bans right now.
And first on the chopping block, it's Vi coming out from the side, from the blue side.
Interesting. So we do have Vi being banned out, and then Malzahar being banned out. Malzahar is not a surprise for me either. Like I said, one-man army does play in the mid. Does have quite a bit of champions that he plays, but he's really good on that Malzahar. And that Malzahar can just absolutely shut an AD carry down with that ultimate. That suppress can just completely, almost, you know, if he gets down his pool, if he gets down his Malefic Visions and throws down that suppress, I mean, an AD carry will likely just sit there and die unless they have perhaps a Quicksilver Sash. So not surprising at all that Malzahar goes down. Kassadin ban, again, not really surprising. Definitely a solo queue ban.
Yeah, no, and he had a few changes in the latest patch. His Null Sphere, his damage went down a little bit, but his Riftwalk damage went up, and I think they lowered the mana on his Null Sphere as well. So really, over just minor tweaks, but that Riftwalk being very scary after level 6, so they do not want to see any of that. Meanwhile, Vladimir being banned out, and Lissandra as well.
Yeah, Vladimir, I wouldn't necessarily say that. That's not necessarily a targeted ban. However, Vladimir's really, really difficult to deal with up in the top lane. After Vladimir hits level 9, he can pretty much just farm and sustain without any kind of, negative consequences. I mean, his abilities just naturally do quite a bit of damage, naturally give him health back, and plus if he gets a little bit of spell vamp, he can just continually spam out those spells. But it looks like we do have an insta-lock on Vayne.
Vayne, one of the most popular AD carries over the last couple of months. Hasn't been as popular over the last couple of weeks, I would say, but there haven't really been any changes to her, and that tumble, it just gives her the mobility in team fights as well as in lane that just really give her the strength that give her the possibility of reaching that late game carry status that we all have seen out of her. Meanwhile, on the other side, Thresh and Nasus picks coming out from the side of Overpowered.
Yeah, and Thresh, not a surprising pick at all. Nasus, also not really a surprising pick. That Wither, you know, gives him the ability to have pretty effective ganks, and it also reduces the attack speed of an AD carry.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to be an effect on Vayne. The one thing Tumble, obviously, on Vayne is still going to allow her to have an escape from Nasus as well as that Condemn, but always a very strong pickup. He's just a very good standard pickup here early on in the pick and bans phase, and then, of course, Thresh, the Hook Master. And it's going to give an opportunity for a possible counter from this support side here, as we actually have Sivir and Nami being locked in, so we actually may see a top lane Vayne here.
Yeah, top lane Vayne can also be pretty powerful. With that Condemn and that Tumble, it's very difficult for an effective gank to be executed. And Vayne can do a lot of damage late in the game. Vayne can, just sit in the top lane farm and get some additional levels, and so Vayne can be a very, very big threat. Obviously, with Vayne being that hyper late game carry, it's beneficial for your team if you push her to that late game status as early as possible. And being in that top lane, being able to essentially just stand up there and free farm, because likely the other top laner, I would say, is going to be a melee champion. It might not be, because they do have the ability. They do have the ability to counter now that they see that there's going to be a top lane Vayne. But typically, bruisers are melee champions, and so that could give Vayne essentially the ability to free farm and reach that end game hyper carry very, very quickly.
Yeah, well, and it's going to really give Overpowered some interesting decisions, because they're going to now have to kind of maybe change their plan as far as top lane picks go, because they're going to have to rethink who they want to bring up there against that Vayne in the top lane. Meanwhile, we do have Fizz and Ashe, so we've got that bot lane and probably that mid lane figured out there. Fizz probably being in that mid lane, and on the other side of things, Orianna being hovered over, as well as Elise, and those would both be really very realistic picks.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I know that One Man Army likes to play that Orianna. He played it a couple of times in the tournament, and it worked out for the most part, except for in one series. We do also have Black Mamba on that Elise, and it really wouldn't surprise me if they pick that. That's a very, very strong team composition if they go with that. And then on the flip side, I'm excited to see the Fizz pick. Fizz, I it'll be interesting. Big Fat Chocoboco will have a hard time against that Oriana's shield unless he can completely burst through it. So, I mean, this, I don't know. I feel like at least at thus far, I'm liking El Yolo's team comp with that Vayne, Sivir. They're having, I guess, the only weakness to their team at this point is that they don't have a true tank. Elise can build pretty tanky, and she can kind of build off tank, but other than that, they don't really have a tank. But it seems like, Season 3 especially has been the League of Assassinations. So...
Yeah, no, and that is going to be a very interesting team comp with the dual AD, no real strong tank. They do have Oriana, who's going to be able to throw that ball onto any member of the team and give them a little bit of extra defenses as well as that shield. So it's going to be very important for her to be able to throw that out when it needs to be, when and where it needs to be. Fizz actually recently had some very minor nerfs. They it looks like they actually lowered the ability power ratio on his Seastone Trident, which is those auto attack pass damage over time. So he's not going to be doing as much damage in the late game as his former self, but still very, very strong pick. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they match up in the mid lane. As the last pick is Jace, actually going to be in that top lane, and I think I like that pick versus a lot of the other picks.
Yeah, that Jace does have quite a bit of utility against that Vayne. He can go into his hammer form to give him some more melee ability, and he does also have the option of switching into a ranged form as well. So, yeah, I mean, compared to some of the other picks that could have been in that top lane, I feel like Jace would be pretty strong against Vayne, or stronger against Vayne, I think is a better way of saying it. But, yeah, I mean, I think that if we look at the two compositions, Overpowered really needs to get ahead in the beginning of this game. Fizz needs to have that assassination potential, and Jace needs to have that poke potential. And if they get behind, it's going to be very difficult for Fizz to assassinate people and for Jace to sit back and poke people. Ashe is a pretty late game carry. Nasus as well is pretty late game. And Thresh is kind of, I don't know, all game, except for maybe super late when he can get blown up before he actually gets in to land his box. But, I mean, I feel like if Overpowered doesn't get ahead in this game, they're going to have a very difficult time in the mid game and the late game against El Yolo.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I'm also interested to see here what we see at the level 1, because coming out of the side of El Yolo, I mean, they've got a possible stun out of Elise. It wouldn't be ideal for a jungle Elise to pull that first, but you've got that, you've got Nami stun, you've got that ball, which is essentially infinite ward. You can you can almost invade with complete safety with that Oriana ball. And then, of course, I mean, Sivir and Vayne are just going to be putting out enough damage, I think, to back that up. And on the other side of things, Overpowered, they've got that Thresh hook, but other than that, their level 1 is not terribly strong. So I would not be surprised if El Yolo tried something early on. We'll just have to see if they agree with me and that they think they have the upper hand here. But I know that Nasus, if they could definitely get a chance at possibly getting Nasus off to a bad start here. So we'll see what they do here from the side of El Yolo on the blue.
Yeah, this is a very... it'll be interesting to see how this works out, because I think that the beginning portion of this game will really decide where the end portion of the game will be. This is obviously still Season 3, so snowballing is a very, very real possibility. I know that a lot of the Season 4 patches are trying to help teams prevent as much snowballing as there was in Season 3. However, this is still Season 3, even though we're in that weird funk between Season 3 and Season 4. Yeah, if Overpowered gets ahead at the beginning, I feel like they can snowball it towards the end, but if El Yolo can just hold off towards mid-game without allowing Overpowered to get too strong, I feel like they have the game in the bag. And it's really to their advantage to push this as late as possible, because Vayne and Oriana are very, very, very adept at team fights, and they can do very well in that late game.
Yeah, well, and not to mention the team fight and siege capabilities of Sivir, that is, and I mean, she can clear minion waves and just deal out that AOE damage, especially with that team fight ability from Oriana. And so it's going to be an interesting, and one interesting pickup here, Cleanse coming out for Vayne. And the reason that's interesting is in lane, Jace is not going to have any kind of hard CC. And outside of that, it really is going to be, they really are focusing on that team fight phase when Nasus is going to be laying down the Wither. And then, of course, Ashe will be coming out with that Crystal Arrow. And so they really are trying to keep this Vayne alive. And we'll see if that works out for them as we are entering into the game here, I think, right now.
Yes, we are. And like I said, I don't know, or I guess like you said, it'll be interesting to see if they decide to go and do a level 1 invade. It really wouldn't surprise me either way. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm expecting a level 1 or,
it's hard
to see.
It's hard to expect it just because these teams, they want to start off safe, and invading is very dangerous, and it is a best of 3, so it's not like do or die here in this game. However, game 1 out of any series is incredibly important for setting the stage for the rest of the series, and both of these teams want to come out strong. And since this Yolo team has such a strong mid and late game, there's a good chance that they'll just want to keep it safe in the early game and reach that point, although they do have a fairly strong level 1. And as we go into the skins, we got a Victorious Elise coming out here in Championship Thresh, representing the final of Season 3 here. And then across the board, some great borders here. We got some very talented teams.
Yes, we do. I know. These are actually Season 3 borders as well, so it looks like, at least from the rank war, El Yolo wins it because they have 4 diamonds and 1 platinum. And they also win the skin war with 3 skins, whereas Overpowered has 1 gold and 4 platinums and only 1 skin.
Yeah, as the skin vantage clearly in the hands of El Yolo, and I think that will definitely be a huge factor coming into this game. We'll see. Only time will tell, I guess.
So let's go ahead and introduce these teams. I will introduce El Yolo on the blue side. It is Zygex on Elise, Psych Out on Nami, Dequarius on Vayne, One Man Army on Orianna, and Black Mamba on Severe.
Yes, and on the other side, I think we've got Overpowered on Purple. It's Mega Moon on Thresh, Just Casual on Nasus. We've got Panda as Poacher on Ashe, Big Fat Chocobo, Chocoboo on Fizz, and then you've got Owner Poner on Jace in that solo lane. As we're getting into the game, and let's take a look at these opening builds and see where these teams head out to start this game.
Okay, so we are in game. I'm just making sure that the correct overlay is on, and it is, so we should be good to go here. It looks like both teams very quick off the fountain. El Yolo is moving as a team into that bottom portion of the river, and it looks like there are some wards that are being pinged to be placed out by Overpowered. So Overpowered looks like they know that something like this is going to happen, and so they are placing some wards. I wonder if they saw each other down there in the bottom. I believe that they may or may not have seen each other. Looks like Panda's Poacher is going in there. Bubble lands onto 3 members, and Panda's Poacher being taken very low, but will be able to get out of there. A couple of summoners used, including an Ignite, but no summoners actually used for Overpowered. But it looks like they are still continuing on. Panda's Poacher actually flashes out of that bubble, so Psych Out and Panda's Poacher flashes. So a really good invade, a lot of summoner spurn, but no first blood as of yet.
And there you see just the power from that Nami bubble early on, catching out 2 members of the team. Ashe narrowly escaped it, but not until taking a ton of damage. And so that could have put Overpowered on a tilt here in this early game, as they actually had to back, popped a couple of summoners as well, or I guess just that one flash out of Ashe. And so that definitely is going to be a factor here, as it looks like El Yolo still looking at being inside this blue side jungle as they're facing off here.
This is very dangerous because Overpowered does have most of this warded. There are 5 members of Overpowered here and only 3 members of El Yolo. They are trying to steal this blue buff, but this likely will be unsuccessful for them, and they'll have to either walk away or die. The hook does land. Zygex is taken low, and that is first blood going down. Unfortunately, the Thresh, but that still is first blood and a lot of gold being shared. In that top lane, it actually looks like we have Severe solo top instead of that Vayne.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting pickup. And I mean, Sivir, she's going to be all right in that top lane as well. She's going to have that spell shield. And that actually makes a lot more sense, to tell you the truth, with that cleanse going on Vayne, because then she's going to be able to cleanse out of those Ash arrows. Cleanse doesn't work necessarily as well against Thresh. The way it works against that pull is it's going to stop so more or less half of Thresh's pull, as we do have some action in the bot lane.
Yeah, so Panda's Poacher does get knocked up. Psychout's being taken pretty low. Jaquarius and Panda's Poacher dueling it off as the supports are dueling it off with each other. But no significant deaths as of yet. Up in that top lane, we do have Black Mamba hitting level 2. I guess they both are level 2. Jaquarius, meanwhile, gets knocked up, does get exhausted. The bubble goes down. It lands. But it looks like we also have a gank coming in the middle. One-man army actually being taken very low. Is forced to flash away. That slow is still going down. And Big Guy Chocoboco picks up the kill. So 2 for 0 here at the beginning portion of this game.
Yeah, and that's already about 1,000 gold advantage right now for Overpowered. It's still early, and this bot lane is pushing pretty well for El Yolo, but nice pickups there from Overpowered as we do see more action in the bot lane.
Yeah, Panda's Poacher being taken pretty low. Psychout doing good job with those auto attacks. Jaquarius is also fairly low. But actually, I wanted to mention something as well. It looks like we have a Biscuit pickup on that Ashe.
We do indeed. Going for some of that, some more of the supportish, or into that tree, into the utility tree there to get that Biscuit. I mean, she's going to probably have a little bit of movement speed from that. Possibly the mana regen to try to lay out some more of that damage. As we do see another pull in the bot lane.
Yeah, the bubble does land, though, and Panda's Poacher has to pop that barrier. The Condemn actually saves the Ashe, potentially, not allowing Jaquarius to get some additional auto attacks. So the barrier, or Panda's Poacher, doing a good job with that barrier, keeping himself alive.
Yeah, and Megamoon has been landing those hooks very consistently, but they've been landing on Nami, and so Jaquarius has been taking advantage of that and really has just been trading as much damage as possible across onto Panda's Poacher, and that has been mitigating any damages. The one-man army getting jumped on here in the mid lane again.
Yeah, and it looks like even in the bottom lane, Panda's Poacher actually gets taken very low, and the third proc with that Condemn, Jaquarius gets another kill. So mid lane does not go down, but Jaquarius picks up the first kill, I guess. Not another kill. First kill for his team. And that brings the gold lead to pretty even amount. There is still about a 400 gold lead in favor of Overpowered.
Yeah, and so far as well across the board, farm is very close for everyone. The main difference right now is that we have had 2 ganks from Nasus. Elise showed her face there in the bot lane, but Vayne had already picked up that kill, so now showing face in the mid lane. But one-man army at half health may be able to bait something out here. Fizz, he's hungry for blood right now.
You know, it surprises me a little bit but one-man army does get jumped on, and immediately Fizz jumps away from that. It surprises me a little bit that Nasus is ganking more than Elise. I feel like Elise is a very gank-heavy champion, especially early in the game, and Nasus really just wants to sit back and farm. So the fact that Nasus has had successful ganks, but Elise has not, is actually pretty surprising for me.
Yeah, no, meanwhile the top lane, Owner Poner, taken fairly low. Level 3 right now into Boomerang Blade for Sivir, and she's absolutely abusing it, getting off some nice harass onto that top lane. As it looks like Nasus possibly trying to gank this bot lane. He throws a ward across the wall. He's going to see that. That's actually a really difficult ward placement, by the way, to get into that tri-brush, and so he knows to go through lane here, and he actually just, well, now he's dancing around. Not sure if he wants to be in this bot lane right now.
Meanwhile, Moon is picking up a ward kill, and if this was the World Finals, that would be some cheers coming off. It looks like Zygex and Black Mamba want to take out Owner Poner. Owner Poner has to be very careful here because they do have the power to take him out, and they do have the crowd control to stop that. Meanwhile, we do have a gank coming down in the bot lane. The Thresh hook does miss, and it looks like Owner Poner decides it's not worth it. So he will back away from this tower, which leaves Black Mamba and Zygex to pick that up. They did just see the jungle in the bot lane, so that will be the first tower of the game.
Yeah, there's really nothing much Overpowered can do about this. He's going to get one more chance here with this minion wave going down from the turret. But with Black Mamba's wave clear, it's going to be very difficult. Here is actually a nice dodge there by Psychout in the bot lane. It's going to be a ward battle, and it looks like it's going to be won by Overpowered here in this tri-brush.
Yeah, so first tower, they did take one additional wave to get it down, but they should, if they choose to, be able to finish off that tower. And it looks like rather they will... There you go. Okay, there's the turret finally. Meanwhile, Panda's Poacher does have that dark passage to keep him safe from that bubble. You know, this is... I actually don't think I've ever seen a Nami versus Thresh matchup, but the utility coming out from both of those champions is very complementary to one another. So these lanes are fairly even at this point. I mean, that bubble, it's interesting anyway.
Yeah, no, it definitely is interesting. It's an interesting combo from both sides, honestly. But the interesting thing about Thresh, especially with Ashe, is that he's been able to get hooks. But unfortunately, without the sustain that Nami has, if their duo lane can't take out one of the members when they do get a hook, this bot lane duo from Overpowered is going to be suffering from Yolo just being able to heal back up, as Nami does have that heal, whereas Thresh is not going to have that same ability. And so perfectly played here by Yolo to trade damage back and forth. As Aquarius actually does get cut out.
Yeah, they are level 6. They do have that level 6 advantage. Panda's Poacher is not quite level 6 yet. Aquarius and Psychout are. But they will be likely hitting level 6 very quickly here. Aquarius actually taking quite a bit of poke there, but that sustain, hopefully we'll be able to keep him up a little bit.
Yeah, but they don't have any vision here, and they are susceptible to ganks. And it looks like Fizz is actually looking at going down there to gank. And I don't know if their spidey senses just tingled or if their mid lane called it out, but they do see this as an Ashe arrow does land on the Psych Out.
There goes the Thresh hook. Panda's Poacher right there. Psych Out will be taken pretty low, but Moon will go down. So that is a 1-for-1 exchange. The ultimate actually used from Thresh from Fish there. Meanwhile, Black Mamba actually being jumped on by Owner Poner. Zygex missing the stun up in that top lane. Repel comes out. Nice flash after the repel. Ghost actually comes out on Black Mamba, and Owner Poner does a nice juke, but will ultimately be picked up by Zygex. But with the jungle in the top lane, they are trading a kill for a dragon.
Yeah, and that's going to even things up in gold. 1 turret for 1 dragon, 3-3 kills across the board. A nice gank there in the bot lane, and one notable thing about that is Nami actually picked up that kill. It's actually, we do see a fleeing one-man army here in the mid lane.
A nice flash keeping him safe, but the Wither does still land, and they decide not to pursue because they knew that Elise was up in that top lane, coming down.
Yeah, but but Nami got that kill, whereas Ashe got the kill in the bot lane. So definitely, I would have to say that definitely went in favor of Overpowered. They're still down a turret and a little bit of gold. That's actually Black Mamba pushing this top lane still. And looks like Big Fat Chocobo getting ganked here in the mid lane.
The Big Fat Chocoboko is taken really low, does use that. The repel comes out, does flash away to safety. One-man army's command attack, not able to get there in time to potentially pick up the kill.
Yeah, that is going to leave one-man army alone in the mid lane here for a bit. NASA's showing back, and he actually is going to back off. So this mid turret is going to take a little bit more damage there as Fizz is going to be returning to lane. And we're actually starting to notice a gap here in farm in that mid lane. That's really the only lane that we're noticing a huge difference. As we do see Orianna up 85 to 61 currently on minions, and almost a turret here is one-man army. Should be able to complete that next minion wave. And next time she even gets a look at it, I guess. Here's Fizz is back.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the Ashe Arrow actually lands. The ultimate from Fizz comes down. The Ashe Arrow lands from the bottom lane, which means it's very, very long. One-man army taken low. The Seastone Trident, we'll see if the procs allow him to finish him off. The pots, nope, the pots will save him. Zygex actually lands the stun of Big Fat Chocoboko. Big Fat Chocoboko will go down. Psychout picks up the kill. Just Casual pops the ultimate to try to keep himself safe. The Wither has gone down. Repel comes out. But Just Casual will be able to walk away from this. He has to be very careful, though, because that tower is very low. So one-man army actually getting, I would say that's luck. Almost going down to the Seastone Tridents, but not quite being killed. Nice Ashe Arrow landed from the bottom. So good job, Panda's Poacher, landing that Ashe Arrow.
Yeah, no, that was a great Ashe Arrow there, but it's just unable to finish up on it as Panda's Poacher now being jumped on by Aquarius.
And Aquarius actually landing a great stun there. But I don't know if they'll be able to tower dive on this, but Elise is coming in there. Psychout actually tanking the tower fire. The box goes down, and they will be able to walk away from that. Black Mamba, meanwhile, does land a spell shield to avoid the Wither and pops the ultimate to walk away from that. So 2 kills coming out. So now it is a total of 6 kills to 3 kills. Big gold lead going in favor of El Yolo for 12 minutes into this game.
Yeah, and that was just a ton of action happening all across the map. So let's talk about one-man army first in that mid lane, avoiding that damage from Fizz. And it's interesting, with such small nerfs like the one we just saw to Fizz, you wouldn't necessarily think that it would become a big factor, but the damage nerf that they gave to that Trident, that could have actually been the difference there between a kill and not. But another great aspect there, one-man army popped that ultimate in just the right time in order to throw Fizz in the proper direction, as actually we do see Elise getting a kill in the bot lane.
And that arrow just missing Black Mamba. I don't know if it was thrown in his direction or if it was thrown to try to get somebody else. But Black Mamba's in a little bit of trouble. Big Fat Chocoboko is sitting there waiting to pounce. So as soon as this minion wave gets pushed into the tower, I'm sure that we're going to see a gank on the top lane.
Yeah, no, Jace now pushing that up here. Black Mamba pops the spell shield to avoid the damage from that corner.
Yeah, that's just a lot of death. Great job by Sivir avoiding the damage with her spell shield, but unfortunately there was another member of El Yolo there, and so the spell shield, I wouldn't say necessarily that it was wasted, but maybe not used at the most ideal time.
Yeah, Shockwave not greater than Shum the Waters, and they were able to pick up a very easy kill in that top lane. And it looks like they're going to look at getting this turret. However, looks like right now El Yolo looking at grouping around this bot lane and get another turret under their belts, get their third in this complete set as they steal away blue buff as well. And right now, if they go into this tri-bush, they are going to be spotted out there, but it looks like action already going down.
Yeah, and Panda's Poacher actually taken very low. Aquarius essentially 2v1ing for a while. Command Shockwave coming out. They do pick up a kill. Good job by Aquarius baiting them out to allow his teammates to come in and pick up the kill. And good job by him not dying. So Aquarius will go back. Another turret goes in favor of El Yolo. And it looks like Overpowered is having a little bit of a hard time working together as a team to pick up objectives. You can see no turrets have gone down. None of El Yolo's turrets have gone down. And meanwhile, all 3 of the outer turrets for Overpowered have fallen.
Yeah, and meanwhile on the top lane, Fizz and Just Casual still looking at getting onto this lane. Black Mamba does get jumped on there, but at least there.
Yeah, the repel does come out. Big Fat Chocoboko is taken fairly low. Zygex will be able to get vision on him and fish him off. Just Casual has no mana, and so he will go down as well. The Ghost has actually been popped for Black Mamba, and that is a 2-for-0 exchange up in the top lane.
Yeah, Jason just now returning, but El Yolo really just utilizing the map control that they have here, as well as just the player skill, mechanical skill, to get these kills. And they're sitting at 11-4 right now, a 5k advantage as they also have 3 turrets now, and they're going to continue pressuring here in this top lane as 2 members just now respawning here from Overpowered. And I don't think that Owner can save this turret.
He's going to try. He just misses the bubble, though.
Yeah, that bubble would have been a sure death there, but
ooh, Zygex actually taken very low, and the golems actually finish him off, so good job by Owner Poner there. And he will get away from that, avoiding the bubble, so really, really good mechanics coming out for Owner Poner.
Yeah, that was a great cue there from him, and he actually is also going to get blue buff from that, so nice pickup there as looks like Overpowered pursuing here on this Nami.
The Ashe ultimate misses.
Yeah, the ultimate from Psych Out, however, does not miss, and Big Fat Chocoboko does miss his ultimate. So ultimates across the board, and Psych Out, the only one who actually hit it, is going to escape alive. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Orianna has been down there pretty much since we've last seen her at all, just now returning to mid lane, and looks like Owner from the top lane being jumped on.
Yeah, Aquarius actually doing a great job keeping himself alive. Black Mamba will pick up that blue buff in the top lane, and it looks like a lot of action just coming out. Both teams seem to be chasing kills quite a bit, and they get themselves in trouble in that respect, but not a whole lot of people going down.
Yeah, and it looks like Overpowered are going to be looking at getting another Baron. They've got 2 members in the top lane of El Yolo, so they should be able to pull this off. Although it looks like El Yolo, they are looking at possibly stealing. There's a huge Orianna.
And we do have Zygex coming in from the back lane. One Man Army actually taken very low. Big Back Chocoboko jumping on him. Seastone Trident won't do enough damage to take him out. He does jump on him, and it will finish him off. Meanwhile, Dequarius is actually taking a team apart. Does flash away, but will be killed. Panda's Poacher is taking on Zygex. Zygex is actually jumping onto Big Fat Chocoboko. Does not quite take him out. Will finish him with that last ability. And it looks like Zygex will now try to duel Panda's Poacher. Panda's Poacher has no mana. Fail Flash coming out there. Meanwhile, Black Mamba and Psycho are pushing in that top lane. Panda's Poacher is doing quite a bit, or sorry, Owner Poner is doing quite a bit to try to stop them from doing that. Psycho taken low. The Ignite take him out. Yep, the Ignite will finish him off. Black Mamba still alive. Owner Poner actually will be taken out by the Boomerang Blade there. Good job by Black Mamba. Blue buff really helping him out with the cooldown reduction as well as the additional gold, or the additional mana. So, whew, a lot of action coming down, but a lot of damage down on that top tower.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, and yeah, I mean, El Yolo, even though they were 3v5 or 4, I guess, in that instance, around that dragon, they decided to go in, and honestly, they didn't even need to win that fight, although they really did. They were able to pick up a 3 for 2 in that around that dragon area. They didn't even need to win that, though, because look at all the damage onto this top turret. It is below 10% HP as an Ash Arrow misses in the mid lane. And El Yolo just absolutely playing this map perfectly as they now have 4 turrets, almost 5, and Overpowered still looking for their first turret, and now actually looking at this dragon here.
Yeah, and it looks like Zygex will... It looks like there's going to be a Smite War between Just Casual and Zygex. Oriana actually picks up the dragon there. Nice command Shockwave. It will not be enough to save her, though. And it looks like Big Fat Chocoboko is in a very dangerous position. The ultimate comes out, they do dash across, and he will use that. Great mechanics coming out by Big Fat Chocoboko. Uses that playful trickster to jump himself across the wall to safety. But it looks like Zygex isn't quite done yet. The hook does land, and it looks like Zygex will be going down there. Nope, he will not be going down. Dequarius will be finished off. Zygex will also be finished off. So that is a 2-for-1 exchange, Fizz going down.
Yeah, overall it was a 1-for-1, and then I mean El Yolo just went back in, and it ended up losing 2 extra members in that interaction, and so and the meanwhile Black Mamba and Owner Poner in the top lane by themselves, and overall a nice victory there for Overpowered as they may be able to get a turret out of this, the first turret here in this bot lane. One Man Army running as fast as he possibly can to get there, but may not be soon enough.
Yeah, we'll see. They have to be very careful here. Just Casual is around. We'll see if the Wither does land. The Wither not in range. The Spell Shield ready to be procced as soon as the Wither came out. It looks like One Man Army is able to save that bottom lane turret, so they still have all of their turrets up. And it looks like, I mean, every time we think that Overpowered has lost the game, they turn around and make something happen to show us that they're not quite out yet. They are significantly behind, but you know, they're not quite out of the game at this point. Owner Poner trying to make something happen in that mid lane.
Yeah, and they really just need a turret, and this mid turret would be a great pickup there, but I don't think they're going to be able to get it as One Man Army now returning. Vayne going to the bot lane, but meanwhile on the top lane, Black Mamba absolutely shoving this top lane down.
And that is another turret going down. Sivir will pick that up. Yeah, no chance of not picking that up there. Just Casual doing a good job holding on to the Wither until after the Spell Shield lives. Great Ash Arrow coming out, and that will be a very, very dead Black Mamba. Ash Arrow landed from like across the map at the fountain, and the longer that Ash Arrow travels, the longer the stun will be. So, yeah. You know what, though? It is a kill for a turret. So I would say overall that is worth it.
Yeah, overall it is still worth it for El Yolo. A nice pickup there from Overpowered, but meanwhile, because they had to put so many of their resources into that top lane, Aquarius was able to push his mid lane, and now actually is interacting with Mega Moon.
Yeah, Dequarius will likely be taken out there. Does use that Blade of the Rune King, but Panda's Poacher is now on a killing spree. So Panda's Poacher doing a good job coming back in this game. Now has the same amount of kills as that Vayne.
Yeah, meanwhile in the mid lane, we've got a dance going on here, and One Man Army actually doing quite a bit of damage there with that command. What is it?
Command attack.
Command dissonance, rather, and a command attack, but taking Big Fat Chocoboko down a little bit, and actually going at the back. As may see a little bit of a grouping here mid from El Yolo. So they're looking to possibly get their next turret, their last.
Ooh, Big Fat Chocoboco almost gets erased, uses that Playful Trickster, throws down the ultimate onto Zygex, trying to avoid the skills coming out. And it looks like Zygex is taken very, very deep. Zygex does get stunned up. The AD carry is there. Jace jumps in there. 1 kill going out into Zygex. 2 kills coming out for El Yolo. And that was a little bit of an overextension by both teams. One-man army does get thrown back into tower fire, though. One more tower shot will kill him, but it won't go down. Psychout actually has to flash away from that. Good job. Nice crit coming out from Panda's Poacher. Rampage, and that is a 2-for-2 exchange there, basically brought about by both teams overextending multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times. I mean, Elise got a little bit out of position there, and that's the first time that's happened this game. I mean, Elise, she's 7-4, so she should be getting a little bit more in their paces. However, it might not be there is
Deathfire Grasp uses a finisher there, and it looks like Big Fat Chocoboco trying to get away. The flash will come out, and Black Mamba will pick that up.
Yeah, and that's going to be double buffs on Black Mamba now. As just trades across the map right now. This is a 21-16 game. And honestly, the kills have been fairly even. El Yolo has got off to a good start where they had an early lead.
Ooh, Aquarius is in danger in this bot lane, though.
Yeah, chasing by both OverPowered and Jesket.
The Wither does land. The Q also lands, taken very low. Actually, good job by Aquarius trying to get that stun off. Does get that stun off. Will not finish off OverPowered. So OverPowered doing a good job staying alive there. I thought for sure OverPowered was going to go down. One more auto attack would have done it, but the Wither preventing the attack speed from taking him out.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as the kills go overall in this game, just to take a step back, OverPowered has been doing a great job of staying in it as far as the kill count goes. They've been trading kills back and forth actually fairly well, since even though they got down early, as an Asher actually does not land on a Black Mamba. Nice spell shield there. But the problem is El Yolo has been utilizing any advantage that they have to take map control. And right now, while OverPowered is doing a good job trading back and forth in kills, they're just still way down because of the global objectives.
Yeah, they are 6 kills, 6 tower kills behind, and 6-0 in turrets. I mean, I would say that's, and I guess I'm not entirely sure. I haven't been keeping too much track of who's been picking up the dragons there, but I think it has gone largely in favor of El Yolo. So all of those objectives culminating to about an 8,000 gold lead. So OverPowered has to be very careful here. Panda's Poacher actually getting chunked down nicely by that command attack without the command dissonance. Meanwhile, it looks like... Ooh, he's got to be careful here. Moon does get bubbled. The stun comes out, and Moon is absolutely erased from the board. Aquarius is jumping in, but will go down. The ultimate from Nami comes out. OverPowered will fall as well. Black Mamba actually jumping in there. Nice command shockwave coming out there. Just Casual taken very low. Just Casual will go down. Panda's Poacher is the only one left alive that's in this running. Big Fat Chocoboco looks like he wants to go in to try to finish some people off, but it will be dangerous for him to try to jump in there. Spell Shield coming down. Bubble not landing. Nice Playful Trickster there to avoid the Boomerang Blade. And it looks like that is a 4-for-2 exchange, and they will try to pick up the dragon off of this. Black Mamba just has a lot of lifesteal. I mean, he's basically back up to full health at this point. Is now tanking it, and they do pick up the dragon off of that. So that is a 2-kill and a dragon advantage coming off of that team fight.
Yeah, that looks like that. It looked like that old Bloodthirster with the lifesteal. As far as just, I remember just Vayne, Vayne with a Bloodthirster could just go and fill up full health there on a Wraith camp there, and yeah, Black Mamba absolutely abusing that, getting back to full health there as they do pick up, I think that's 3 dragons in their favor, and that first dragon actually did go to El Yolo, and so definitely a nice control here by OverPowered as they were able to pick up a 4-for-2, and as well as that dragon, and we'll see what they can do with it. They still have that inhibitor open in the top lane, and they haven't really been giving it too much attention. Severe pushed down that turret, and we haven't actually seen her in that top lane, as we actually do see mid lane being pushed down.
Yeah, they will just brute force to pick up this turret, and that will be 1 turret. Looks like Zygex actually in a somewhat dangerous location, but one-man army is waiting to follow up. One-man army does have that blue buff, so we'll be able to Oh, the ultimate actually coming out from Nami. Will it land? Yes, it will land on an Owner Poner. The bubble also lands on Owner Poner. Just Casual being taken down. One-man army jumping over that fish, and it looks like Psych Out will pick up the kill there. Panda's Poacher now very dangerous. Nice ultimate to keep himself alive. The stun, I think, has not come out quite yet, or it's off of cooldown at this point. 2 kills going in favor of El Yolo, and they are now knocking on the front door in this middle turret.
Yeah, Thresh was not there. He actually is getting a pull-off on the Zygex, but I don't think that's going to be enough. They're going to lose their first and probably second inhibitor of the game right here. And that could honestly seal it. El Yolo, with those 2 kills, are going to be hard to deal with after these 2 inhibitors.
Yeah, it looks like Big Fat Chocobo are taken very, very low. Zygex also taken low. Command Shockwave actually being whiffed there by one-man army, and that might make the difference here. It looks like they did stay for a little bit too long. Just Casual will pop that ultimate to try to stay alive. He does have a little bit of health left, and he will survive. Meanwhile, Owner Poner jumping on to the 2 remaining members of El Yolo. We'll see if they have the ability to chase them out. Command Dissonance there, just absolutely melting Owner Poner from the map. So that is a 3-for-2 exchange now. Big Fat Chocobo and Owner Poner going down. But Owner Poner really just chased a little bit too hard there and underestimated the damage coming out from that Orianna.
Yeah, and that's actually one thing about Orianna that can be very deceptive is she's known as being, I want to say, almost a supportive mid laner, a very much team fight oriented. You know, she's got that shield, she's got command shockwave, as well as the speed boost and slow from dissonance, but never underestimate the amount of damage she can get, especially when she's sitting in 224 farm, and she's got an Athene's Unholy Grail, a Void Staff, and a Zonia's Hourglass under her belt, and not to mention Sorcerer's Shoes. And so, yeah, absolutely abusing that, picking up the kill onto Jace, as they got those 2 inhibitors, and that is going to be a real tough place to come back here for Overpowered, as they have been able to push back the lanes fairly well, but unfortunately El Yolo coming back with even more gold here, as they're almost 10k ahead now, and they're going to be looking at finishing this here soon.
Yeah, and in that last fight, Overpowered came out of that with a 1-kill advantage because it was a 3-for-2 exchange, but they did lose 2 inhibitors off of that. So essentially what it was 1 kill for 1 inhibitor. So El Yolo now off to pick up the Baron, and I don't think that Overpowered can counter that. Yeah, and it looks like they are just a little bit too late. El Yolo absolutely melted that Baron buff, and Ashe throws down her Hawk Shot just a little bit too late, and now they are just pushing up the mid lane. They really only have to push up the bottom lane to pick up that last inhibitor. They do have a turret, essentially, for free. So my guess is they'll push through this mid lane and then rotate down to that bot lane. They might even tank it up. It is fairly low, so the inner turret will likely go down. Zygex actually gets caught out there. The box goes down. The repel comes out, but she's going to have to jump right back in there. Oh, no, she does jump back into their base. Zygex actually will be taken down by Panda's Poacher, so that is now a 4-for-5. We'll see if they try to continue on to push. They didn't use too many ultimates there. Just the one coming out from Ziggs. Actually, one-man army being taken by that fish, but they will not follow up on that. So another ultimate wasted. But, yeah, still is a 4v5.
Yeah, and that definitely evens things up a little bit, and you could say that it was a 1 tower traded for a kill there, but at least did not have to die. But it looks like 4v5, El Yolo still looking at chipping away underneath this turret.
My goodness, the Dissonance and the Shockwave doing a lot of damage there. The ultimate actually procs. Thresh being taken pretty low. Just Casual being taken very low. One-man army just steps a little bit too far. Just Casual, again, overextends just a little bit too much. Psych Out being taken low. Jace jumps in there, finishes up a kill. Black Mamba will pick up the kill. Aquarius actually not going down. Big Fat Chocoboko may be able to pick up a double kill here. Uses the Ignite and will pick that up. So is that a...
Everybody
died. Zygex died at the beginning. I don't know if Moon actually went... No, Moon did go down there. No? I don't know. So possibly a 5-for-5 exchange. But it looks like there are minions pushing on to the base of El Yolo. Or sorry, the base of Overpowered. El Yolo's minions doing work there.
Yeah, no, and Megamoon did not go down there. He was alive throughout that. He just backed off. But now Elise is back, and yeah, these minions that are still very strong, pushing down even in his bot lane here. And unfortunately, Thresh really just has to deal with these Nexus turrets. And they may actually lose this bottom turret because of it. Now Zygex is there, Megamoon and Just Casual returning, and they actually are going to be able to defend this for now.
So at 11,000 gold advantage coming out for El Yolo. Now, even though that was a 4v5 based on the number of people that were alive, Ash came in at the very beginning because Ash had left to go deal with the minions that were pushing onto Nexus turrets. So Panda's Poacher, it really was a 4v4 up until Panda's Poacher showed up. And once Panda's Poacher showed up, El Yolo just melted under those crits coming out from the Ash.
Yeah, Ash currently sitting on an Infinity Edge and a Static Shiv. As another Dragon name being picked up there by El Yolo for a little bit of added gold. And it looks like they are going to continue to push these lanes back, get that map control back. One-man army picking up his own blue buff. And they definitely have the power. And, I mean, you saw how fast that Baron went down. Just that dual AD comp definitely working out right now for El Yolo. Zygex getting caught out a few times here and there. Definitely not as tanky as normally it might be as the tankiest character on their team. But overall, still winning out here. El Yolo looking to finish this game.
Yeah, and a somewhat offensive build coming out for that Elise. She does pick up the Sunfire Cape, and she also has the Abyssal Scepter and the Spirit of the Ancient Golem. But other than Spirit of the Ancient Golem, those actually, before we talk about that, the ultimate lands onto One-Man Army. One-Man Army uses a great Zhonya's, but it will likely just delay her death. And it looks like Vayne just actually sitting in the back, melting the team there. Big Fat Chocoboko dives a little bit too deep. Dequarius does not go down. 2-for-1 exchange so far, and it looks like neither team wants to continue this initiate. Dequarius did not go down, and because Dequarius was allowed to live, that's really what made the difference in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, Fizz was definitely all-inning. Fizz, his only plan was to kill Dequarius, and unfortunately was not able to do that, and Dequarius was able to pick up that kill, and now they're going to be pushing onto this inhibitor. Elise split pushing here in this mid lane. Zygex actually taking quite a bit of damage, though.
Yeah, Zygex, the Ignite does go off, so Zygex will go down. Nice pickup there by Owner Poner. Slow coming down. The hook coming out. But Panda's Poacher does not want to yep, that's exactly why she didn't want to do that. Oh my goodness, a great condemn there coming out onto Panda's Poacher. Panda's Poacher does not go down, so the Ignite will finish her off. Will not finish her off, so wow. A lot of action coming out, and it looks like Just Casual's having some connection issues. Pause coming out.
There is the pause, but yeah, Overpowered doing a great job of sieging up here, and I honestly think that El Yolo just went a little bit too ham on that. One-man army went just balls to the wall right on in. Thresh getting off some really clutch hooks there as well, and even though they're losing out in trades in a lot of ways, they have been able to defend these inhibitors, and it's just going to be a question of how long can they do that, as the bot lane turret has now been pushed down by minions. And is going to be it's going to start getting damaged by minions here, and so we'll see here. But Overpowered so far very strong in this siege. It looks like did he reconnect?
Yes, it looks like he did reconnect into this game, so we should be getting back very soon. We should be going live again really soon. You know, Overpowered putting up a very, very good fight at this point. Doing a great job keeping their base from being damaged even more. But unfortunately, El Yolo has a very late game oriented team. You saw how much damage Dequarius did in that fight. One-man army got annihilated at the very beginning of that, but Overpowered didn't dominate. They really only got one additional kill off of that. So El Yolo really showing their late game potential. And it's going to be very scary from this point on for Overpowered as more and more of El Yolo's team is hitting their 6-item build.
Yeah, and it's really going to be up to them to, if they can, I think that really this is how it would go down if this is the best case scenario for Overpowered, is they're able to somehow keep their inhibitors alive until the next Baron spawn, and then if El Yolo goes for that Baron and they don't have the minions pushing, any super minions pushing, Overpowered may have a chance to steal that Baron or to get a favorable team fight around that Baron area. Unfortunately, with one-man army with that command shockwave, as well as just the general damage from Severe and Vayne, and then, I mean, Nami obviously with that ultimate, it would still be a very difficult fight. But right now, Overpowered looking like they are not going to give out without a fight. So they push back this mid lane. All lanes now are looking fairly safe for them. All those inhibitors are open, but at least they don't have minions biting at their heels. And El Yolo just now returning to the map from their own base, and we'll see what they can do, what they have to have up their sleeves as far as this game is concerned.
You know, one thing that's also of note is that El Yolo really didn't get any additional objectives. I guess they did get a couple of towers after those inhibitors have gone down. But unfortunately, that really gave Overpowered a lot of time to free farm. So now Ashe almost has a full build at this point because she really just farmed all those minions. And so even though it used to be that one-man army had a significant farm advantage over that Ashe, Panda's Poacher doing a great job taking the fact that her inhibitors have gone down and using that to essentially farm herself back into this game, and now has the most farm on the map by about 12 or so. And that's increasing. So, the inhibitors going down can be a blessing and a curse. Obviously, it's a blessing because it gives you more map presence. But if you let the enemy team farm up, it could actually end up being poor for you. And in this case, I wouldn't say that it was bad that they picked up the inhibitors, but it was bad that they picked up the inhibitors and didn't get any additional objectives off of that.
Yeah, because if you're looking at the gold right now, the gold is purely wrapped up in those. The towers, the 9-tower advantage, as well as those few dragons. So that obviously still very powerful, but Overpowered has been able to stay in it, although it looks like they're backing
get this
off. Yeah, they may just give up this Baron, and this Baron dance has been very important for them. Hawkshot does come across, but it's too late as that Baron does go down, and that is going to be rough.
Yeah, this is going to be a very dangerous fight. No, it looks like they are going to try to back off there. And I completely agree with that. But none of the lanes, actually, bot lane looks like it will be pushing. El Yolo actually unwisely splitting up here after picking up the Baron buff. And looks like Vayne is in a very dangerous position. But it looks like Overpowered is going to try to push in the mid. They are trying to go for a base raise here. Ooh, and this is dangerous for both teams.
Yeah, the thing is, with Severe pushing down those lanes, they're going to get a tower out of this, but Overpowered...
They're not even going to get a tower out of this. Yeah, Overpowered needs to back away. And it looks like Aquarius doing a good job. Oh, the whiffed ultimate there. Psych out being taken very low. The Thresh Hook actually landing onto Aquarius. Nice cleanse coming out there. Aquarius taking him down. And that is probably good game. 3 kills coming out for El Yolo. And, yep, that's GG. Aquarius, just Barrett going down. Quadra kill. Actually, is that a penta? Nope. Scumbag support taking the penta.
Either way,
not sure what happened there.
A huge victory there for El Yolo. They had a little bit of a problem finishing it out there, but using that Baron, they were able to finally get it as Overpowered, making a very bold move. Unfortunately, lost the base race, and El Yolo picking up game 1 here of this series.
Yeah, so El Yolo has picked up game 1. We're just barely waiting to go into